Igniting imagination is our topic today on Luminar Coffee Break. Less what we can accomplish in 10 minutes or less, starting now. Hello everyone. So today we're going to ignite our imagination using overlays. And I want to thank my really good friend, Jacob Boris, who sent me his overlays. Oh my God, there's like 800 and something of them. Absolutely amazing. I want to thank him tremendously for that. So let me dive in. Here is the final image. Now, I couldn't find a silhouette of a little boy walking down a hill that Skylum has. We have that as part of our tutorial. I couldn't find it. So, believe it or not, I created this with AI. So I forgot which one. So I used AI to create a spaceman walking. I put on a hill. What I want to do is show you how I used, I used AI here, but I'm going to show you a couple things first. What I want to do is show you the original. One moment. Let me get to the bottom of it. Oh, you know what? This is the final version. That's why. Let me get to the original version. Overlays. Here we go. Got it. All right. So there we are. We're here. Let's see if this is the edited version. That's the original. So I hope this is the one. Edit. And let's see. Give it a second to render. And I was experimenting all day today on this. So there we go. Here's the edits. Got it. And discard. I am so sorry. That's not the original. You know what? I cropped it. That's why. That's the original main right down here. Whew. All right. So edit. And this doesn't do what I want. Then I'll just switch it over. Yep, this is it. Here's all the layers. All right. So, as you can see right over here, off to the left side, look at all the layers I used to create this. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide them one by one, just so you can see what I did. And hide, almost there. And again, this was a little overkill, but I got excited. And boom, all right, there we go. So this is the original image. I mean, it looked okay, but that's not what I envisioned. And remember, we talked about this quite a bit. Photograph not what you see, but what you imagine it to be. So photos you imagine. This wasn't what I imagined when I created the AI. So what I'm going to do is this. I did start real quick with just a black background layer. So I imported just a plain black background layer, and look what it did for me. All right. So once I did that, and I'm going to come over here to layers so you can see it. The opacity, I maneuvered it to where if I wanted the image really, really dark, really, really bright, this is what I did. Then from there, here's where the fun begins. Now I imported the fog that Jacob had. So what I'm going to do is this. Instead of me walking it through like this, I'll start from the beginning to end, but I wanted to show you a couple key features. One was that black overlay, all right? And I used soft light to give this effect, because if I didn't do that, this is what it would look like, all right? So why don't I do this? Actions and revert to original. There we go. So here we are with the original. All right, let's begin. I'm going to edit. And the first thing I want to do is get rid of some of these things here that are distracting. So erased what I really didn't like about the original image. And did I miss it? There we go. I don't think I hit. There we go. Now erase. All right, so once those are gone, then I'm going to move to the next section. There we go. And what I did was I added just a pure black background. All right, and you can create this in Canva Photoshop, any graphics program. Let's put it at 100% for now, just so you can see it. But what I need to do is this. I want to fill the entire screen, or I want to fit it, right? Or stretch it. For this, I might as well stretch it. Now the magic comes in here. Let's make this an overlay or soft light. Ooh, overlay looks pretty good. I kind of like soft light. You know what? I'm gonna go with soft light. Now, one thing I noticed. I'm gonna go back to this image here. I forgot one thing because this was an AI and I had to upscale it quite a bit. I'm gonna use noiseless. I'm gonna put noiseless at high, so there is digital noise, even though that was a AI generated image, and that generated noise actually turned into like pixelation. So this is another good tip. There we go. Now I got that where I want it. Now I added that other layer. Good. Now I'm going to start building the ground. So I'm going to add fog. And again, here, I can either fill it or stretch it. I'm going to stretch it because I want it to go all over the image. Now, if I put it to 100%, we're not going to be able to see the spaceman. So let's change the overlay. Which one's going to work better for us? Ooh, that's not bad. But that's not the original that I did. I'm going to go with screen. All right. And then under develop, let's see if the smart contrast. Yeah, that's what I did. So I'm going to go to develop. And what I want to do is bring that in. Look at that right there. So I did go into smart and develop because it was a black background on that fog. I wanted to bump the contrast up so we could see more of the fog. And then the black, let's see what white's going to do for us. Yeah, white's fine like that. All right. Now the good news is I only have to do that. I only have to do that once. So I'm going to duplicate that layer because I want to make the fog thicker. Ooh, look at that. And let's duplicate it one more time. So you can see how I'm building it up. Now I'm going to take that spot and I want to move it in position. And let's lower the opacity so it's not as strong. That's it. Now, when we do this, we might have a very, very faint, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's a faint line that's in here. So if that's the case, then under the layer properties, masking, brush, erase, and I'm going to increase my brush size, and here's the softness, and I'm just going to lightly come across that edge. There we go, to make it blend better. All right, so look what I did again. I went 1, 2, 3 of the fog, and now that gave me a good base. All right, now I'm going to add, let's add a shooting star. So here comes a shooting star. I'm going to rotate it. Let's put it to 100% so we can see what we're doing. Position it into place. Ooh, that looks good right about there. All right, now that we did this, let's look at our layer masking, or I'm sorry, our the layer blends. Multiples, nope. Light, screen, yep, it's going to be screen again. So we're going to do screen, but once again, look how we can see a faded green or screen. So I'm still on this layer. Develop. Let's bump up the contrast. There we go. You see how they got rid of it? And let's enrich the blacks. Ooh, there we go. All right. So you see, when we're dealing with layer blends, sometimes we also have to adjust the contrast and the black tones so we don't see that shade. All right, so that looks really good. Now, let's add some stars. So, I believe these were the stars. And we're going to stretch them to fit. Yep, there they are. Stretch. And 100% opacity. There we are. Look at the stars. What can we do? Which one will look good? So I'm going to cycle through the different ones. Ooh, lighting looks pretty good. Let's see, overlay. Not bad. Soft light, hard light. All right, and this is where you make a decision on what you want. Difference amp, multiply maybe, or darken. Yeah, neither of them really do anything. So it's either lighten, screen, or overlay. So I'm going to go with screen, but I am going to tone it down a little bit. There we go. And of course, I don't want it on the man or on the spaceman, so we'll take care of that in a moment. Now the shooting star, let's move that to the top. Now if I move it to the top, notice the stars are not going to have, they're still going to be there because we have the opacity set here. And actually, you know what? Let's crank the opacity up. Ooh, that looks pretty good. All right, so I have that set. And again, I'm going to address this in a moment. In fact, you know what? Let's address it now. Mask. I'm going to do brush, erase the effect or the stars just on him. Good, there we have it. And you know what? While I'm at it, why don't I do this? And get rid of the stars on the mountain and in the fog area. I'm not too concerned with that there. You know what? There we have it. So now that looks a little bit better. All right, I'm going to add either Saturn or I think it was Jupiter. I kind of like Saturn. Yeah, that was Saturn. Here's Saturn. Again, full. Let's bring it down. Move it into position. All right, now we have to decide, masking-wise. I'm going to come over here, and I want to do background removal. So I want to get rid of that black. But now I know when I do this, part of Saturn's ring is going to be affected. So that's okay. We'll fix that in a moment. There we go. Remove it. And now we don't have to worry about that background. Give it a moment. And once it does, there we go, it's removed. But look, there's that little piece, no problem. Let's come back to the brush. And I want to paint in the effect right here. There we go. That looks better. All right, good. All right, so now that I have that set, we can make a decision. Do we want that brighter, darker? That's up to you. But watch what we're going to do. I'm going to take that again. And let's make it just a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put it right up here. Good. Now, there we have it. Good. All right, now here's the next secret sauce. Remember we did this black background? I'm going to duplicate it again. And once I duplicate it, you guessed it, I'm going to move it up. Ooh, that looks good down there too. I can put it up in here. Now if I put it up on top, that's going to have the overall effect, or just move Jupiter or Saturn up a bit. There we go. Oh, that looks really good. So we have choices here. I could just duplicate this here, leave it on the bottom, give it a moment, and then let me hide this one for a moment. All right, so there's two options there. If we left it at the bottom, then it's only affecting the spaceman. If we decide to bring it up on top, like I did here, but not past, here we go, but not past the planet, there we go. It gave the same contrast, except it did it to the fog and to the mountain and also the shooting star. All right, so there we have it. I mean, how cool was that? You know, so we could start with a good image. Like I said, this was AI. And actually, it won't let me do the before and after. because I have to decide. Well, you saw it. I'll do this. Okay, you know what I'll do? Action, revert to original. All right, and give it a second to render. So we started with this, and like I said, it was good, but it wasn't my vision. I did create a preset. Just when you're dealing with stuff like this, and when you're working with art, sometimes things happen. So instead of you having to start all over again, create a preset. There we go, and then apply that preset to the image itself. So if somewhere down the line something goes wrong, you can always come back and adjust it. In fact, there we go, the original image, my good buddy Carl, who loves astrophotography, said, nope, V, put the planet up above the stars and above everything else, because in reality, that's what would be shining brighter. All right? So there we have it. All right? So I hope that helped you guys. It's a creative way to use overlays, and I have to admit, my good buddy Jacob, I was inspired because of his overlays. In fact, here we go. Oh, there's something different. I don't have his, so I'll show you that in a moment. So I was inspired with Jacob. Actually, I do have it. All right, so I do have the Clever Photographer here, and if I'm not mistaken, if you use code Holly, you can get an extra discount on it. So that's Jacob. Now, what I want to show you is this. We have Jim Nix, Jacob, and myself. We're doing a special webinar, free, Explore, Capture, Create, Expert Tips for Unforgettable Travel Photos. And you can click on, or you can scan that QR code, or go to skylum.com and that little URL that I put there in the description. And I'll also put it, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put this in the YouTube description as well. All right? So there we have it. I hope this was very helpful for you. Leave comments. Now, if you're here watching Luminar Neo or watching Luminar Coffee Break, stick around for the Ask Me Anything segment. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or you're watching as a rebroadcast, keep in mind, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you're welcome to join us on Zoom so you can stick around afterwards, ask any questions about today's topic, what we just covered, or what's new in the industry. All right? Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you at the next coffee break.